Shalom. First and foremost, I like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Rachakodash, and double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to those for elect, hearing this word in truth and in sincerity. Alright, I'm the brother Awalam from the GMS West Palm Beach Camp, back with another lesson. Pretty much this one's going to be a day closer to the Lord's harvest. All right, and pretty much we in 2026. All right, and pretty much these people celebrated, quote unquote New Year, but we're looking forward to, the day that we get delivered out of here, man. All right, because what's the point of celebrating, knowing that you're still in captivity, and that's what shows you that Jake is still dead out here. Because after they celebrated, guess what? Next week, you got to go right back to work. Or the next day, however their schedule may be, you got to go right back to work. Slave for Esau, man. And this whole holiday season, just kept people broke, man. But these zombies won't see it like that. They just see it as a break from life or whatever, a break from reality. But this is Joel chapter 3 and verse 9, because the harvest of the Lord, which is the judgment, consists of many things. You got World War III getting ready to happen. You got war here amongst Babylon. So it's all kinds of chaos getting ready to happen, or that people cannot see. But this is Joel 3 and 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Right? The weak nations are now, walking with their heads high. All right? Because they now have military capability that they once didn't have. All right? So now they're looking at America like, they're ready to do something. All right, their pride is up there. Verse 11 says, that's why you got countries like Iran, all right, declaring total war on Babylon, man. Declaring total war, Babylon, I think it was Israel also. No, if I'm not mistaken. But the point being is that places like Iran, are now threatening other countries. Now, why? Because, that's one of the weak nations saying, I am strong. Okay, verse 11 says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about thither. Cause our mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened, and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the nations round about. You see, so the judgment of the Lord, all right, it's only a day closer. While these people are celebrating and getting festive and jolly spirit, Salaki, man, it's cold weather. Got me messed up out here. Okay. All right, the Lord's judgment, right? It's gonna come upon these people because they're spiritually asleep. It's gonna come upon these people when they least expect them. All right. Verse 12. It's like in verse 13, and it says, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. All right? Their wickedness is great. So Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai, is getting ready to do a great harvest here on this planet. Concerning these people, man. These people is, all right, the wheat and the tares is about to be beaten down. Now I know there's a parable that goes into the wheat and the tares, but that's not what I'm referring to. All right, I'm simply referring to, these people being, a harvest that Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai is going to reap through judgment, man. And as you can see, the MOTB, all right, the brain chip is being talked about more. You they're making this technology more known amongst society. They're introducing it more and more, and that's how a snake move. A snake move, all right, upon its prey, slithering. They don't just come and strike like that. It sneaks up on its prey, and that's what Esau is doing. If you know what he's done over the last couple of years, since COVID, all right, this man has pretty much introduced a new way of life to society, man. All right, technology, AI, all of this shit has been introduced, through the C19, all right, CV19, all right. Let's go to Psalms, the 64th chapter. Verse 2, and it says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. Right, the secret counsel of the wicked, is where the elite, so-called elite, they have counsel among each other, and talk about their plans for the next for the next 30 to 100 years, man. That's what Esau does. That's the pride of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. They have councils among themselves, all right, for the next generation. Like Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is not the one that dictates who rules and who doesn't. See, that's the devil for you. It says, verse 3, who whet their tongue like a sword, and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. Okay. Through that legislation, they're gonna do this, man. And that's what they've been doing this whole time. It's just signing things, putting in legislation. You know why? Because all of this is gonna come into effect when Esau begins to move upon you people, man. Because according to him, he's got an agenda to fulfill. He's got to be it's got to be a world domination thing with Esau, man. And he's trying to fulfill it. It says, verse 4, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect, right? Because their target is really really Israelites. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. All right. Verse 5, they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? And Yahweh Bashim Yahushua sees them. All right, the scriptures talk about how the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun. So Esau, Edom, is going to be one of the primary targets to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua's judgment. They're going to be the primary targets. This kingdom is going to be the primary targets to, what the Lord got coming to the society. And like it says in the book of Sirach, the 10th chapter, as the leader of the people, as the ruler of the people is himself, so are his officers, man. Just roughly paraphrasing it. What the leader of the people is, all right, that's what the people are going to be like. So the people are wicked just like the leaders. So guess what? Everybody on this planet besides the elect, all right, is going to receive some type of horrible judgment. Because they're following after the ways of Esau. Okay? They're following the ways of Satan, man. It says, verse 6, they search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. You see? So like the scripture says, Esau, Edom, it's wiser than Daniel. It says the Prince of Tyrus. When you read it, but we know in spirit, the Lord is talking to Esau, man. All right. Let's go to the book of 2nd Esdras. Second Esdras chapter 15 and verse 1. And it says, Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. You know, because every day that goes by is another day closer to, the Lord destroying this place. And that's why he says, speak in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, man. Because at the end of the day, when the Lord does bring his judgment, before that judgment reaches, its specimen, before that judgment reaches its specimen, they're going to remember, all right, that these things were said. Because one thing about, people is that, I've never been in this situation before. I've never been in a situation, but before, death hits them, right? Life flashes before their eyes, man. Oh, shit. The heart rate goes up. Now they thinking about, oh shit, what did I do? And it's like a lot of thoughts going through their brain, man. I can't leave yet, I got a family, this and the other. But through the spirit, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua may very well reveal to them that the judgment, what they've done, and that they've came against this truth if they have. Which more than likely they have, because this word has gone out to the four corners. Ain't nobody can say that I'd never heard about the Israelites. All right, and even if you heard about a bugged out camp, you heard about the Israelites. Because for the most part, a lot of the camps they teach that the so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans are the Israelites. All right, they're what they call it, surface. The surface level Israelites. They only teach the basics, but at least through the basics, you've heard enough to go and do your own research. All right. Verse 2 says, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Right? These sayings are faithful and true. Ain't no doubt that Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is fed up with this place. All right. The Lord is jacking up California. Different parts of the world is getting jacked up. So how much more when the Lord brings judgment to America, Babylon the Great? We just another day closer to the Lord's harvest, man. These people, they're going to understand true judgment when they see Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, and what he does. Okay, it says, verse 4, for all the unfaithful shall die in the unfaithfulness. You see? Because a lot of people don't believe. A lot of people, we witness it every time during camp. Whether we get somebody that come up and listen or not. So somebody that don't listen, that don't believe, they'll come up, look at the signs, and then walk away. They're cold altogether. All right, then you got Jake that'll come up and listen and ask questions. They'll come up, listen, and ask questions, and then by the end of the conversation, they're going to show you that they never believed, and that's cool. Because at the end of the day, this is for the Lord's elect, not for everybody, It says, verse 5, behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. The Lord's getting ready to bring horrible plagues to the earth, and it's safe to say that many people are not ready for it, what's to come. Verse 6 says, for wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Beginning with the rulers, the elite of Esau, Edom, their hurtful works are fulfilled. Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is fed up. Matter of fact, in the book of Romans, it says how the creation groaneth, the whole earth groaneth, man. talks about that the earnest expectation of the creature is for the manifestation of the sons of God, man. Alright? Yahweh Shai and the rest of his elect. 144,000, that governing body. You know? Romans chapter 8 and verse find it. Slovakia, Jay driving right now, but spirit breath witness with our spirits. And I know it's around here somewhere. Right here, verse 19, and it says, "For the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of God." You see? And that shows you that, it's looking for, Yahweh Shai and the rest of the elect, because it says the sons of God. We understand Yahweh Shai is the son of God, or the son of Yahweh. Alright? But then you got the kings, the rulers under Yahweh Shai. Alright, that's gonna rule with them, and they're gonna run the world in a righteous order. Because as you can see, the world is completely upside down. The world is this earth is crying for the Lord to bring judgment. Even the earth is crying out to the Lord. Because lately Esau, Edom has just been tearing down the trees and building. Apartment complexes. Building. Plazas. Concrete, everything, man. The wildlife is dying. It reminded me of that movie Avatar. Just watched the movie Avatar, Fire and Ash. And it's a perfect example of how Esau moved. Now, I'm not gonna spoil it. All right, but back there about Shemar Shah. That movie Avatar. It shows you how the so-called white man gets down. When they see something that they want, they're gonna destroy for it. All right, peaceful talking is out of his vocabulary, right? They're gonna bring the sword out for it and take whatever you got to pretty much colonize you. And that's what he's been doing throughout the ages, to our brethren, the Gadites, our Northern Kingdom brothers at that, because Northern Kingdom was already here in the Americas, before Esau got here. And when he got here, pretty much colonized the whole place and destroyed everything. But that's how Esau moved. Alright, but since then that Esau Edom took over, the world, the earth has just been mourning. The earth has just been, on life support, so to speak, man. You see? So that's why, that's why the judgment of the Lord is necessary. It's needed. The judgment of the Lord to the world is like medicine, man. Okay? So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, and double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to those who elect, hearing this word of truth and in sincerity. Until next time, I say shalom.